So I got this question a while back, and it was brought to my attention last night on how I can tell if my knives are dull or my chains wore out when all I see is this. Ninth load of the day. I get a break. That's all she wrote. Now it takes some time to learn how to tell that stuff. It takes quite a bit of time. You can't learn it. I said this before, you can't learn it in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It takes some time in this seat to figure out just when your knives are junk and when your chains wore out. And there's all kinds of indicators, many different things to tell, because your knives get dull in different styles. You can put some dirty wood through it and they can take the whole edge off your knives, and your knives will look sharp but they have no edge on them. Or a chunk of chain can slip through, or you can have a nail in a tree go through, and all that stuff affects this chipper differently. When you have a muddy day out here, these chains, I mean, if you have it full of chain, it'll get all that sand and dirt and mud off. But if you don't have a lot of chain here, some of it will continually get through. And when it gets through, it just dulls the whole edge of that knife up. I mean, it can make a knife dull fast. I mean, it's no different than a chainsaw or anything else. But that wipes them out quick. Now, if you have a chunk of chain go through or a nail go through, that'll ruin a piece of your knives. Whereas the rest of the knife's good. But when you get that dirt that rides through, sometimes it wipes out that whole knife in a couple loads. And it's just, I mean, you can feel it up in here. You can feel when that tree's going through that chipper disc. So there's vibrations on this thing all day long, because every time you chop a plate of wood off from that tree, there's a vibration. And so when you have chips going out, there's a constant vibration in the machine. But when you get dull, there's a much more when that tree hits it. And you can even look at your RPMs of your motor, they'll drop down, but that V12 will pick right back up. The turbos, you can hear them whistles, you can hear them just kick right in. So that's kind of the knife. And today I had a lot of dust. I had a lot of dust coming out. I know my knives are junk. I couldn't feel it as much as say other times, but I just got dust flying all over. So I know my edge is gone. I chipped a lot of beech, and there was some hard maple kicking around. And that's hard on knives, especially when it's cold out. It was cold out this morning, and that just ruined my knives. So I know my knives are bad. My chains, now you can tell over time. Again, it just takes time to see that I got a fair amount of bark coming out still. And I can see by the bark texture, actually, to see if it's good or not. And when you don't see a lot of chain coming out, or a lot of bark coming out that conveyor chain, you know you're weak on chain. And it's just little things like that just takes time to develop. And I know I'm a little weak now. I'm not that bad. Tomorrow's Thursday, tomorrow will be Friday. I'll be just fine with what I have now for tomorrow. And the trick is I'll get in here tomorrow morning, I'll turn my drums up just a little bit. My RPM speeds will go up just a little bit. That'll help take a little off. And then I know by tomorrow night, I'm gonna have to work on those. But they're good for today. So let's get out, let's take a quick sneak peek at what we got going on. Maybe it'll help you out a little more. Sorry for the wind, we're like in it's just windy here. But if you look at these chips, let's grab a handful and go over here. We'll get out of the noise a little bit. Okay. If you look at these chips, I'll try to show you. You see this chip right here? Oh, come on. That edge, see that? That tells me that it's not getting cut cut straight. We got problems. It's supposed to look like that. Even that's not so great. But I can tell I got issues with my knives from my chips. And you see all the small ones in there? That tells me I'm having a little bit of issue. So if we go up here, this knife don't look that bad. It's a little bit burnt from the hardwood, but it's not horrible bad. So let's take a gander at another one. Not horrible bad neither. Now if you look, hard to get it to focus, but my inner knife's bad too. But if you were to look at these, if you were just to look at them, they don't look that bad. When you look at their chips, they're not getting cut good. So it's just, needs new knives. It needs to be a nice clean cut on those. So we're gonna have to do that. And again, I can tell all that from up there just watching the chips go through the spout, go into the chip band. You can tell that from sitting up in there. Talk bark. See, that's a, well, what you're looking for, it's not the greatest bark here. We did some popple, and you can see that's kind of chewed up pretty good. A lot of small stuff. What you're looking for is this right here. It's got the bark and the cambium layer all off from it like this. When you see chunks like that coming off the conveyor, that means you're doing real good. You want them big chunks coming off. You don't want that fine garbage. You're gonna have fine garbage, but you want the big chunks. That's when you know that you got good bark coming out. None of your limbs off your tops are coming through. That's just a good indicator when you got chunks like this that it's getting broke off good. Again, I mean, you just got good chunks, and that tells you when you got stuff like this, oh, that's a chunk of beech. Come off. Nasty garbage. But another indicator is when you see that you don't have a lot of your small limbs. This is the stuff you really don't want going through there. It's about 1 inch round. It doesn't make, it likes to get in there. Sometimes it'll get crooked, and it'll throw a complete slab 1 foot long and 1 inch thick and 7/8 thick. That's not what you're looking for. That's bad, bad, bad. So bad boy, bad boy, bad boy. You want to keep it clean. So you want the good thick chunks of bark. You don't want that small fine stuff where it's just knocking the outer edge of bark off. It's really not getting down, cleaning that all off to the actual wood, getting the cambium layer off. You want to get all that off, and you just want that nice wood to go through there. And you can tell by sitting up in that cab, and when you've got these nice sticks like this coming out, this nice chunk of beech here, that's the stuff you don't want going through there. So when it's getting them nice sticks off from there, those are good. But yet you can see there's not, everybody always asks me, how much will it take a tree and debark it before it kicks it out the conveyor? And as you can tell, I mean, there's not a lot of big round chunks. Now this big round chunk here is popple. That was broke off. I guarantee it was broke off when it went into the chipper throat. When you had the small chunks like this, the chains didn't beat that in half. That was broke before it went in, and it worked its way out the conveyor. But all this other small stuff is all 1 inch. I mean, a couple of them bigger than 1 inch, but I mean, this is what you're looking for. You don't want this stuff right here making it to them when you're producing a clean chip, that's the most important part. Thank you, Paul. I overloaded a chip van yesterday, and Paul's paying it out for me, so here he comes. Oh, that's Josh! Whoa. Whoa. That's the first time he's done something all day. So I can't call him bad boy, he's finally doing some work. But he finally got my chips out of there. They've been bothering me all day. I just dealt with them, you know. I try not to complain too much, because then I get a bunch of flack on that I whine too much. That's just how it is. I'm gonna get in trouble for whining too much. But yeah, that was my screw up. But anyways, I hope this helped out a little bit on that question. If not, ask me some more specifics and maybe we get it straightened out. Because I'd like to help you out. You know, I like to explain what we got going on here. So that's the operation. That's a couple ways how you can tell what's going on. I'm sure there's more. I'm sure some of you guys know there's more, and how you tell might be a little different. And everybody does something different. That's what's cool.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born.